Hey guys, this is the Total Divas After Show on AFTERBUZZ TV. Stay tuned, we're going to be breaking down Season 5, Episode 11.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Birds and the bees. Oh, you can sing, guys. I like it. So appropriate for this episode. Hey guys, like I said, this is AFTERBUZZ TV's Total Divas After Show, and we are breaking down Close Quarters. Thank you for coming to hang out with us on YouTube. If you're live, I've got the chat rolling. We want to hear what you have to say. We are on iTunes and SoundCloud as well. Make sure you leave us a 5-star rating and a little comment. Let us know what you think about the show, about this show, about these people sitting next to me. My name is Christy Olson, and you can always hit me up at Christy Reports and follow the entire AFTERBUZZ TV team at AFTERBUZZ TV. And I'm going to let these beautiful people tell you where to hit them up at.
And am I the only one who's never heard of that song before?
I think so. Yeah.
I've never heard that song before.
Then how do you know about the birds and the bees?
I mean, lots of porn. I am George Hermoza. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram, Hermoza, GHERMOZA. What about you guys?
Hey guys, it's Megan Stecher, and you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat, all at Megan Stecher.
Hey everyone, I'm Paulina Aguilar, and you can find me on Twitter at _Paulina Aguilar and on Instagram at Paulina M. Aguilar.
All right, well, I know a lot of you probably tuned in tonight to talk about the big Bella news that came out last week, and we are definitely going to cover that in news and gossip, so stay tuned. Actually, 2 big Bella newses that came out last week, so we are going to chat about that. But first, let's jump right into this episode, which was fun-filled. Should we fashion and fun-filled in this episode of Total Divas?
I love alliteration, by the way.
That's my fave. I was trying to think of an alliteration to say.
For that.
It's my favorite. Oh, I almost just alliterated with a bad word, guys. All right, well, we learned that Nikki and Bree have an idea. Actually, we've been hearing about this lingerie line for years. I remember reporting it in our News and Gossip episode like 2 seasons ago. So I'm glad to hear that it's finally coming to fruition. And they tell us about the idea that they want to donate a pair of underwear, a bra, for everything that someone buys, which they seem to think is like a really unique idea, but is something that sort of everyone's doing it. Tom started with the shoes and all that, but it's very Brie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, what did you guys think of this idea?
I like it. I would wear it. Maybe just because I'm so in love with Brie's style. I don't know. I would totally wear it. But I don't know. I mean, if you have the means to do something like that, why not? I don't think it can hurt anybody, you know?
I thought it was kind of the perfect blend of their styles. Like, Nikki seems more like a lingerie, showy kind of a girl. She loves fancy, fine things. And then Brie is so crunchy, granola, earthy, like, let's give back. And I thought it was a great idea. I just wish they were already out. Like, I wish it was timed so perfectly that, since we've heard about it for, you knew about it for so long, I wish it was that they're available, like, right after the show finished tonight. Because I would have bought a pair.
Right.
Well, not a pair, like a pack, like a bunch. Like, how many can I get?
A bundle.
George, you want some birds and birdie bee, what's it called?
Birdie bee.
Birdie bee bra.
Apparently they're not going to make them for men. I don't know, it was just weird.
You can totally pitch that to them right here on AfterBuzz and be like, hey, we're going to bring in Daniel Bryan and John Cena and get some ideas like that.
Interesting.
Birdie bees for the boys.
It was just weird because they were like, what am I trying to say? Oh, they're like, we're having a lingerie line, so automatically I affiliate lingerie with, like, a sense of sexiness. So, and I thought it was like, Birdie Bees, that doesn't sound like a very sexy kind of name.
I think it's more of like a Brie style.
Yeah, it sounded a little too earthy. Like, I was like, it's more like underwear as opposed to lingerie.
Oh, I love it.
I'm sure they'll throw in a couple. I mean, you've got Nikki part of that company, so I'm pretty sure we'll see some.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV.
Yes, you are.
And now, let the buzz begin.
And we begin again.
He just did that because we're talking about bees, and he wanted to let us all know that the buzz is going to begin right now. Oh, I love it. Well, also, in another discussion, the ladies are talking when they're in New York City, and Brie says, all this fashion stuff is great, and this is fun and all that, but she needs a baby now. And I know I kind of keep saying this all the time, but, like, I've heard enough about the baby, Brie. Like, do you want to do anything else?
The word cha.
I feel the same. I'm like, I'm tired of hearing about you wanting to have a baby because obviously you're not going to have one if you still are under your wrestling contract.
Right.
And by now, she let the cat out of the bag in real life, real time, that she wants to retire this summer to have babies and be done because Brian was forced to retire. And I don't know, I feel like it's a little anticlimactic for me to keep talking about.
Well, they're going to talk about that in news and gossip, right?
Well, that's right.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm saying...
Trying not to get so far ahead of the ball, but we know so much.
It's just like, well, you know what? I just want to say to her, I want her to be like, okay, then have a baby. Have a baby, Bree. Go and have your baby. Have your baby, Bree. But that means she has to retire and well. Meanwhile, Mandy and her family arrive at Sanibel Island, Florida, where they are taking a little vacay with the Neidharts. Now, it's Mandy and her brothers and their kids and her boyfriend, and mom and dad are there. We learned that mom and dad are actually separated and have been for, well, she says recently, but it sounds like it's been a few years, maybe on and off kind of a thing. And she's talking to her brother about, you know, what do you think is the situation with them? Will they reconcile? How is this weekend going to go? I sort of thought that this had disaster written all over it, right? Did this whole thing make you guys nervous too?
Yeah.
I think the whole Natty thing saying my family's not normal and my dad is this and I'm scared, you know, that I'm gonna be embarrassed. She had this whole hype that I was expecting for something dramatic to happen and nothing happened, which I kind of liked. I like seeing them out of that dynamic of wrestling. And it wasn't bad at all. They kind of kept to themselves. Like, you know, Mandy and her family kept that conversation within them, you know, and it was nice to see that.
Yeah, because Natty was worried that her dad was not going to behave. Do you guys think about that?
He almost went off the rails, and I was very worried that he wouldn't behave. But he's
Really?
He's so much better this season than in past seasons.
You're on vacation. Are you kidding me? That's the last thing I want is for someone to tell me I cannot be a certain way.
I mean,
I'm
was...
paying for my vacation. I'm enjoying it. I worked my ass off. No.
Let's be real. The Total Divas production paid for the vacation.
I don't care. I'm on vacation. We're not working.
I was totally annoyed by Natty.
Yeah,
just let him be him. Like,
exactly.
You know, and you think disaster vacations, and it's like what? He's wearing a little shirt that has a bikini on it. Really?
It's funny.
I'm saying like that's your definition of a disaster and misbehaving.
No.
Come on, seriously.
No, she was worried about him beating up the masseuse, which I think totally could have happened if she didn't stop him. I'm for real. So that's the kind of stuff I worry about with him. And yeah, I thought it was going down.
Oh, I love it. Well, at this point, when they go back to Mandy's family, she kind of explains that her brothers caused the family a lot of stress. Maybe in the way that Natty's stressing about her dad. Yeah. Mandy's like, you know, my brother's got in a little trouble or whatever back in the day. And she sort of attributes the stress of that to her parents' breakup, which I thought was very interesting.
I missed that.
Because it was very like, oh, my brother's caused a lot of trouble, and so there was a lot of stress from that, and maybe now that they're out of the house, maybe everything will be fine.
But I love how Jersey Shore they were.
Right?
They were so Jersey Shore with this, like, basketball sneakers on the beach. It was classic.
It's Jordans.
Yeah.
The brothers are great.
Yeah, they do. I think for that long of a marriage to separate, it's more than just stress from the kids.
I think they've been
way more
having
than
issues for a while.
I mean, it's like, I think if you have been together that long, I don't think it should be seen as a failure. I think that that's a really long time to have stuck together, and they raised their kids and then they separated. Like, it's sad for the kids, but people do change, and you have to grow together, and sometimes people don't. And I don't see anything wrong with, what am I going to say? It's not my business. I don't know. I don't really know that.
Oh, they made it your business, Megan. It's okay.
I don't know what to say because my parents aren't divorced, but they raised their kids together and they stuck together, and 34 years is a really long time to be married. And like some people are dead by the time 34 years of marriage would have rolled around, and like, good for them. They lasted that long.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah, I think it's just new for her, and I would probably be the same way. Is they just have to find a new dynamic, a new way to be.
Yeah.
And I think that is hard.
Yeah, and that seems to sort of be what this trip ended up being for them. And they go dragon boat racing at one point. I was sitting there, I was like, oh, this is so dumb. This is boring. Why do we need to see this? I think they wanted it to become sort of a catalyst for like, oh, Mandy's family can't work together, or there would be a fight or something. But like, they banded together and they whooped the Neidhart butt.
I want to say it seemed like they each had their own houses, kind of. Like, there was so little interaction between the two families that it kind of seemed like they probably had their own places.
I would.
Okay.
It definitely looked like that too. I mean, especially the way it was kind of built up in the past episode. Like, oh, I invited Mandy over for family vacation. Like, what did I just do? It's like, yeah, you kind of imply you're going to see all these interactions between the two families, and we only saw that like more like outdoors and whatnot.
Well, Well, with that whole thing of her being nervous, I thought it was more of like, you know, I'm sure you guys have gone on vacation with your families, and there's always that one person that plans everything. Kind of, we saw that with Daniel Bryan last episode, I believe. Plans everything, and you're like, no, I just want to lay by the pool. No, I just want to go take a nap. No, I just want to go to the bar. And so I thought that's the kind of conflict that I was going to see. But we didn't. They all did, you know, they were all on good terms with everybody.
Is the chat room saying anything interesting? I can't get mine to refresh.
Definitely, you know, you had a couple people agreeing. I was reading it at the same time. I said definitely agree with Megan as far as definitely a Jersey Shore type.
Yes,
type
Jersey
bros.
Shore vibes.
Jersey.
I miss that show. I
do, too.
Let's go ahead and sign Mandy's family to a spinoff while we're at it. Like, I feel like Divas is getting a little recycled, a little tired. Like, let's get our Bella spinoff. Let's get like Mandy's family spinoff. Like a Jersey Shore vibe. I would love it.
Yeah, it's very reminiscent of what they did with Eva's family, the first season that she was on, really, where they gave us a lot of like what's going on with her family.
And I liked her the most then, yeah.
Yeah. So that's a good way to be setting Mandy up. Meanwhile, those Bella twins, well, they're at odds a teensy bit. Brie has admitted that she's not as much of a businesswoman as Nikki is, and they go to Mood, of all places in New York City, which is this famous, huge fabric store. We actually have one in LA, where I got the backdrop that I do my YouTube videos with, which I get compliments on quite a bit. It's a beautiful store, and there's a little sewing class, and someone who's clearly gone to school and knows what they're doing is going to teach the ladies how to sew. I'm going to say my thought during this was that they're not going to have to sew at any point. They don't need to actually know about any part of anything to have their mission accomplished. So, I don't know. What did you guys think of this?
I felt like it was super contrived. The storyline was super contrived, but I felt like the most true thing that stuck out to me was Brie saying, I don't like when you partner up with people in business and then they take your idea or take all your money in the end, or however she put it. And I was like, that is so true. Like, so many celebrities will just hand out their name or pitch an idea to someone, and the company's like, oh, great, we've got it from here. And it gets taken away. So I thought that was the most true thing about tonight, but it felt like we were watching a very written for them story play out scene by scene.
Really? I was laughing at the whole sister dynamic in the whole car, the arguing and all things. Like, that reminded me of me and my sisters. I'm like, you know, when you kind of like, no, I know you can't do that, and I'm going to keep telling you, but you're annoyed and you don't want to admit it type of thing. I don't know. I was laughing. I didn't think that. At least the whole argument thing, I thought that was them.
The granny panties are pretty great.
That was hilarious.
When she held it up like...
Do you guys sew? Have you sewed?
Oh, hell no.
I thought I
don't have a sewing machine.
She probably makes her own costumes and everything, don't you?
Sewing is so freaking hard. The only thing I can ever do is like hem something.
What about you, George?
It's probably not
I'm
straight.
going to bring you a big pile of stuff that needs to be hemmed, Megan.
Okay.
I feel like we've seen a lot of. It's like maybe like once every 6 episodes we see like the Bella twins at odds again. It's like they disagree, and then it's gonna end in a happy ending, of course. I mean,
but that's sisters. You're at each other's
See,
throats.
George and I are only children. We can't relate to this.
So it gets boring.
You guys can be
I have a sister very close in age, so me and the Bellas, I get it.
Yes.
I got it. Well, I always say we were raised like twins. We were so close in age, and my sister never, like, my parents would always have this like age that you could do everything at, like, oh, you can't get a phone in your room until you're 12, or you can't do this until you're 14, or whatever. But they were so sick of parenting. Like, Katie was the 4th, so it was like they were so sick of like parenting and just took it easy on her. So she was always allowed to do everything the time that I was allowed to finally do something.
Oh.
And so I always say we were like raised like twins, and like, oh, we fought like cats and dogs.
Oh, well, those
cute.
Bella twins are doing it too.
Why do they need to go to a sewing class when WWE has the best seamstresses in the world?
Good point.
Oh,
See,
yes.
so contrived.
Thank
they could have
you.
just gone to their chicks over there and been like, this is what I have in mind. Could you help us mock something up? You're so right.
Yes, that was the voice of our producer, James, who I always forget to introduce. Thank you, James.
The voice of God, James.
Well, they had a little chat at one point, too, with the woman who started Diamonds Unleashed, which is a really cool, it kind of has the same idea as Birdie Bee, where they give back, but it's jewelry and it's gorgeous stuff. And I know we've seen all over the trailer and the picture of the pink, I think it's pink sapphire octopus that they're wearing on their heads, and it was like sitting on the table, and it was really cute. And I don't know, I just saw that like 6 months ago on Instagram, and I thought it was the coolest thing, and I started following like Diamonds Unleashed, and I'm all over it. So they're ambassadors for Diamonds Unleashed, and they talked to Kara, and she kind of says, hey, you know, do you want this to be huge, or do you want it to be Etsy? I hated that Brie kept saying like Etsy. I'm like, oh my god.
Like, we know you're Etsy, Brie. Calm down.
I think she said the perfect word was it was mom and pop. That was the perfect way to describe it, which is what Brie was trying to go for. And everybody said the right things. It's not realistic.
It's the perfect way to turn it around in business terms for Brie, because she's so focused on, but I love like local and crafty and like earthy, and it's like, yeah, but do you want to have a business, or do you want to sit home sewing underwear yourself?
But I think in order for her to understand that, it wasn't, Nikki was right, but it's your twin sister. It's your sister that it's like, okay, you're a Miss Know-It-All. Like, you have that kind of attitude towards them, and in the back of your mind, you know that they're right. I think she just needed to hear it from somebody else, someone outside of that, of them too.
I agree.
Yeah, because if those big old granny panties didn't make her know that she didn't know what she was doing.
Maternity panties.
George, do granny panties turn you on?
Depends on who's wearing them. If my granny is wearing it.
There you have it, ladies. No, they should make a maternity line if Brie's gonna have a kid. Mind blown. You're welcome.
You know what
they
need to launch. They need to launch before they do the maternity, because they need to catch on first with the regular line.
Oh, they will. I just looked them up on Instagram, and if you guys ever have a chance to, they already have like 2,000 followers, and there's no posts.
Birdie Bee?
So they have more
Of course they do.
friends than me, followers than me.
That's what I was saying.
Maybe the ladies are waiting until they're out of WWE, because I think, and George, maybe you can speak to this, there's something in their contract that says like everything they do, WWE gets a cut, right?
I don't think so.
Or like half own some of it.
I'm sure that's true.
Well,
There's something.
Do you remember when Natalie tried to do her own, I think it was a fitness thing, or her hair makeup line or something.
Oh, and
then he
did.
got in trouble, yes. And she had gotten in trouble. So I'm pretty sure, I mean, honestly, I would. If I'm waiting for one career to end and ready to start another one, I wouldn't overlap it.
I think it depends. I think if you're trying to put your name on something, that's one thing. But if you're creating a business from nothing, I don't think. If they use WWE to promote, that's something else. But as we clearly see, like, there was nothing WWE related. I mean, as James pointed out, you know, they have the best seamstresses, but maybe they don't want to go that route. Maybe they want to do everything literally on their own. They don't want to have to rely on WWE. They don't want to have to rely on the easy way out. They want to be able to do their own. That's why they got those meetings on their own. I mean, who knows? Maybe somebody hooked them up. Who knows? But
I'm sure they got help with the meetings.
But I totally see it.
So much faith. I love it.
Well, no, I totally see WWE owning your image. So if you sign with them, it's like that money is theirs.
I mean,
part of it.
I think if it's Brie and Nikki Bella presents Birdie Bee, that's one thing. But I think if it's, you know, Brianna and Stephanie Garcia, whatever their real names are, I think that's something else.
Well, it's like they're being smart about it. They're putting the word out there at the peak of their fame, and as soon as they can do it for best profit or whenever they're actually allowed, or what, you know, we don't know what their contract states, but I'm sure they're going to launch it at the perfect time.
Get to it, ladies. We're ready to wear
I
some
need my
Birdie Bees.
panties.
Well, speaking of getting intimate, Natty's mom, Ellie, gets a little massage back at the house, back on vacay, and he was really getting in there. I don't know, lower region. Apparently, she's got some lower back issues or something. I was really surprised that Natty's dad had a problem with this. Because first of all, who really cares? Second of all, you've been married forever and you guys are like old and like, I don't know, I just think you just assume that there's not jealousy in a relationship that's that seasoned.
I liked to see that, actually. It was like they've been together for so long and he still feels that way, you know, about his wife, you know. I don't know. I thought
it was
cool
so
to see
him.
Yeah.
so him that Natty's having to hold him back from going apeshit.
But we didn't even see like any anger. He's like, "Oh, what's that? What's happening?" Like again,
She calmed him down.
But again, it can be so much more worse than what it looked like.
Well, I thought actually nothing was happening, that he was just working around the area. But when I saw the actual shots, I was like, oh no, he's really massaging all up in
area.
working all up in the gluteus, smack surface.
He was. Meanwhile, Mandy's parents are sitting next to each other in the van, giving her all kinds of, ideas and inspiration. She clearly has not relinquished the idea that maybe her parents will get back together, and she kind of takes every little sign, like, oh, they chose to sit by each other voluntarily, as like, it was sad. It was sad to watch that, because she was really holding on, right?
Because I think what it is, it's they're so accustomed to see, mommy and daddy
Together.
So when they're not together, they obviously they sit, and she even said it that it's not too long ago. I'm kind of curious when exactly they maybe separated. Whether it was a year, maybe it was just a few, maybe it was right before, maybe like 3 months ago, who knows, or before the show started. So yeah, I'm kind of curious, but yeah, they're so accustomed to seeing them together. I understand just where they're coming from in terms of just how heartbroken they are, as we clearly saw many times during the episode.
Well, yeah, and then even when she talks to her mom, she sort of hears her mom say, oh, that there's kind of a bit of a chance, when I think her mom was sort of trying to let her down gently and say, we'll always love each other, and she sort of took that as like, wait, does that mean you're gonna get back together?
Yeah.
So episode of Boy Meets World.
Aww, BMW. We could talk about that. We could talk about Vader.
Well, you know what? I thought you guys all picked up on it at the same time, and I kind of didn't. But you were like, oh, you know what? The brothers know something she doesn't. She keeps saying, well, they could get back together. Well, they could get back together. And then the one brother with, like, the man bun was saying,
no,
I live with Dad. You don't know. We talk. We're close. There's no chance in hell. And I'm like,
he got a little crazy, too.
I know. He got wild. Well, I was thinking he was about to say, but Dad is a girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
And I was
I'm
like,
hiding
don't
it, and
do
I'm upset
that
about
on
it.
family vacation. Don't
So
do
Boy Meets
it.
World. It did kind of remind me of when the Eva Marie, when they all went to family vacation, and
Vegas.
she ended up finding out that he was
Dad,
sick.
yeah.
I don't know. It's just so funny how now you have the new girl Mandy kind of in a similar, obviously
Filling in
different
that
situation,
spot.
but kind of going through something very similar.
Yeah, because that scene on the beach was very touching, and again, very sad. And even to see the guys sort of get into it with each other. The brothers, one of them was even still saying, like, well, maybe there's a chance.
Yeah.
So, meanwhile, back at the house, they all sit down together and have a conversation and sort of bring up all these issues. And the dad has a really sweet sort of response. He shuts her down, but he's saying, like, oh, we'll always be a team and we'll always be a family, and they all start to cry, and it's very touching, right? This is, like, exactly how I would have wanted this to end. Like, this is the best way for this situation to have ended, right?
Mm-hmm. I got sad when the brothers cried.
I did kind of like the realness of the episode, because obviously if it was, any other episode, they would have got back together like any other episode, of Total Divas. But like I said, this episode was kind of weird, but the fact that the whole realness of the situation, that's what I like to see in these kind of shows. So I kind of heartbreaking, yes, but knowing that everybody's human as well.
Yeah, and she ends up thanking Natty and her family for inviting them all along and having them in a really sweet toast. And Natty kind of realizes that, she says, I always feel like I have to be the parent to my parents, but I need to realize that I just need to chill out. So everybody was all good. Look at that little storyline wrapped up in tight little bow right at the end there.
Aww.
See how that happened?
Yay, vacay.
Oh, well, I just wanted to read some of the things. Our chat roll was pointing out that Maria Kanellis got fired from WWE because she would not share the profits from her recordings.
Ooh.
Storage Yard resident says, I love me some Maria Kanellis. AJ0314 said that masseuse was crippled by the anvil afterwards.
I'll bet.
Yeah, the chat roll really wanted him to get in there and mix things up with that massage therapist. Too bad. Oh, and Montserrat Yeraldine points out they can't use the Bella name, but so I guess as long as they don't use the Bella name, they're not really crossing into any kind of terrible territory. But let's get back to them. Now, the ladies go and meet with Daymond John, who I love. I don't know if you guys are Shark Tank fans out there, a big Shark Tank fan. And I really thought that he would be more receptive and excited, because this is kind of in the realm of what he does, and they're like hot young chicks, and he was kind of not having it. Like, he admitted to them when they called and said the Bella Twins want to meet with you, I was like, no, thank you. Were you guys surprised that he was like that willing to just write them off?
I was.
Yeah.
I thought that, he probably gets the average Joe pitching him all the time due to his Shark Tank popularity, and that celebrities coming with an actual idea in mind, not just saying, how can you make me rich, would be a meaning he would really not mind taking.
Right.
And I was surprised that I don't know, maybe it was scripted, but that he was kind of like, I don't care to meet with them, was his attitude.
I had never seen Shark Tank before. I've heard of it, so I didn't know
I've
who
never
he
seen
was.
Shark Tank
Missing
either.
out, you guys.
I didn't know who he was either.
I have
was like,
enough shows on my list, but I mean, from what I saw of him, I absolutely loved. And I like people like that because they're brutally honest, and it doesn't matter who you are. And he says that celebrities come in and pitch all the time and they just want to make a little bit more money, which is fine, but what makes them different, well, I guess like you were saying, like Tom's and other companies that do that as well, is giving back. I think that's what he liked. But I can always respect honesty like that. I mean, why to call bullshit, I don't care who you are. If you're attractive young, if you're not going to help me make money, then why? If you don't have a good idea that I don't support, then why am I going to work with you?
Yeah, when they introduced him, they were like, oh, he's like the owner or CEO of FUBU, which, by the way, I didn't know was still around. Maybe it isn't.
Maybe
It's
it
branched
isn't.
off
You
into
don't know
a
what
lot of
FUBU
other
is?
things.
It was more of a.
She's too young.
She's so young.
Let's just say FUBU promoted a lot on the BET network.
Okay.
And-
maybe because I don't watch the BET network. But
It's an urban clothing line.
Literally-
For us, by us is the
Which is
idea.
FUBU.
He's the designer and the owner.
got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's become a lot of other things since then, and I'm sure George still wears his
What
FUBU
was like
pants
the
and he's
peak
just not copying
popularity?
it.
Was it like mid-90s peak popularity?
Yeah. I remember LL Cool J being like a big spokesperson for FUBU.
I've probably seen it and just never even.
I remember a commercial. where he'd
Watch
be
like a
it's-
Puff Daddy video.
Go
Like
on, go on YouTube and Google like LL Cool J FUBU, and I remember this one ad. He was like FUBU, 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 FUBU. Something like that. He was just like, I think he probably did a little rap in the commercial.
You're thinking of Gap.
then-
He did a rap for the Gap.
He did.
Yeah.
I hear like this, like him being like FUBU, FUBU
No,
at the end. No.
Well,
He did a
I
rap
don't
for the
know.
Gap.
FUBU is definitely
I don't know.
not organic chic.
No.
Which is
No.
how they're describing Birdie Bees. I'm sorry, but the organic chic thing made me roll my eyes.
Well, I
have to tell you.
guarantee they went with, if Brie got her way, a different production. Like maybe they didn't sign
Team.
with him, and
Right.
yeah, but like I think Brie really wanted her way and like not having this mass produced over in Asia.
Yeah, but then he brings his designers in,
Right.
and we just got a glimpse of what they came up with, but it looked really
Gorgeous,
cool.
yeah.
And it seemed like Brie was sort of seeing the light. Like she was like, "Oh, I can't make that, but you just made that in a second, and maybe we need someone like you."
I think she learned that it's okay to ask for help. I think, and I'm guilty of being the
so
same. I've
sweet,
been guilty of the
George.
same way where I feel like I have to do everything. Like I feel like if I rely on someone else, it's someone else that can possibly mess it up.
Right.
Right.
So obviously, when you have a team of professionals around you, I think Brie learned, hey, it's okay. You can ask for help. That's what they're there for. As Nikki would say, these are professionals. They study this. They have a degree in this.
I feel like
Do you have a degree in it?
I feel like if you're the one that's making all the decisions, like, no, I don't like that color, and no, I don't like this, and I know that that's what Brie was saying that she didn't want. But I feel like if it's your company, you're the one that has the control. You're just paying someone to professionally sew it, professionally put it on the computer for you. Like I can't do that. That's why we have like 4 reels. We have people who make them too. Like.
I think she wants to stay away from the way that maybe some celebrities that have like a clothing line at a mass retailer like HSN or QVC it would be like you have a clothing retail company that makes a whole line for you. You go in and you pick, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. Which I understand that she doesn't want to do that, but Nikki is right in that you can sit down and give your ideas and work hand in hand, and the creative can be all from you. You're just not building it yourself or fashioning it yourself.
Actually, I think the closest person that I can think of that did something like that was Jessica Alba's Honest Company.
Yeah.
You see pictures of her going in, making her makeup and all that stuff, which she's involved in every step. She just has people working for her too,
Yeah, she's also admitted that she likes to make people cry, and I don't know about her as a businesswoman. I think that Nikki and Brie will be
Don't say that, I like her.
much different businesswomen than they are.
For the record, I've never
Do
heard
some
about
research,
Jessica
girl. I
Alba.
don't think you should.
No, I saw that quote. She said something about like,
Yeah, she just likes to be a hard ass boss just to be a jerk.
I don't know if she said that, but something about
That's what I heard.
she does make people cry, and she tells them like it's okay, you'll get over it or something. I don't know.
Something. I just don't think she's a very. I don't think that she is. I don't think Jessica Alba is as sweet as those Bella twins. That's all I'm saying. And this scene was also where they explained the birdie bees thing and what it means, and the birds and the bees, and we all went, I didn't get it. Yeah.
No, I knew that from the beginning. I got it.
Oh, well, you should have told the rest of us.
And
I didn't get it at all.
In my mind, I saw like a little like hummingbird logo or something on the back of the underwear. In my mind, as soon as they said birdie bee, and at the end when she's like, with like a little like bird for a logo, I was like, yes, I understood your vision.
They had the logo already on Instagram. If you guys look him up on Instagram, on Nikki's page, I believe in Breeze, they tagged it. Okay. So if you click on it, the logo is their picture, which is really, really cute.
Okay.
Yeah. I'd look it up, but my service is horrible in this room.
Yeah, we can't get anything. Well, Brie ends up telling Nikki, like, you were right. Which doesn't happen extremely often, and she kind of like just offers up the information. I wanted to give her a little round of applause for being so mature and realizing that she was wrong. Did you? I didn't, because I didn't think that she would. I didn't think that she would like admit defeat and be like, you know what, you're right.
No, this is why this was so scripted to me, because Brie never would talk to Nikki like that.
Oh, yeah.
She never does talk to Nikki like that. So it was just a little too like scene 6, take 2 for me. But it doesn't mean I don't love you just as much, Brie.
I was just reading a couple of our chat roll comments. Ryan Whittleson said, well, you don't form a company worth $1 billion by being sweet. Oh.
Touche.
That's actually a good point, Ryan. And Jessica Alba's company is worth a lot of money. Sylvia Love said that Daymond John supports Puff Daddy and did not want to give the Bellas a chance at first. He probably only agreed because it was more advertisement on TV. Oh, that might be true.
The dirty little trick.
Well, do you guys have anything that you would like to add about this episode?
No.
Good.
All right, George.
I wish I would have seen something with like wrestling.
Wait, I do.
Wrestling?
I'm really happy that Paige wasn't in this episode.
We saw her in the beginning doing a photo shoot.
Oh, yeah. Right. Eating her pizza grilled cheese.
Oh.
Which looked amazing, or sounds amazing.
I just needed a break from her this week.
I mean, I'm duding to
break
Paige
from
not being there, not duding to grilled cheese, obviously, because ew. I was gonna just say we had to talk about camel's milk, but that's Real Housewives. Anyway, let's move on to a little bit of news and gossip. It is juicy today, y'all. First of all, Miss Mama Bella. Okay, real name Kathy, but we love to call her Mama Bella. Got herself hitched. Yes, she did. She got married last Thursday on a yacht, which I'm sure was all paid for because they were tagging that yacht place all over the place. Nikki and Brie had identical hair and makeup. They were so beautiful. They both had their hair up, and I forget how identical they can really look. Like when they kind of rock the same style, they really are identical twins, and it's sort of unbelievable. You guys can see all the pictures on Instagram. Both of the Bella twins and Mama Bella have pictures on Instagram, and Megan pointed out.
Ooh, yeah, I was scoping out all their Instagram pictures like a psycho, and I could see a little mic pack sticking out of Brie's dress. It was like one tiny little antenna from a mic pack, and I was like, oh my god, yes, they taped it for the show.
If the show's still on.
Oh!
They're shooting now.
Well, Kathy looked amazeballs. Like,
yeah, she did.
Oh my god, that dress I would wear today, and it was completely age appropriate for her, and her body's slamming, and she looked amazing.
I just love that it's like Mama Bella has a whole new life.
Yeah.
You know, she was just this like divorced mom in Arizona, and now she's like a reality star, and she's married to John Laurinaitis, and I just freaking love it.
And she's hot.
Yes, and her daughter Nikki got to have her brace off. Another little piece of news. Yay. Nikki only has to wear her brace part-time now.
Great.
And she said her spine, her screws, and her plate, oh my god, she has screws and plate, are all looking good. She's got about 3.5 months of recovery left, and in July she's going to be getting a CAT scan, and then they'll know if her spine fused correctly or whatever. Everybody fingers
So
crossed.
she's not even wrestling until after that?
They said that she's probably never going to be able to wrestle full-time ever.
I did read that, but I don't want to put that out there. Meanwhile, her sister Brie is rumored to be retiring after WrestleMania 32. Now, we told
Which
you guys
is
last
Sunday.
week. Well, we told you guys last week that Daniel had been pulled from appearances,
Right.
and that actually maybe that was on the SmackDown show, but that due to his health is why she's kind of citing that she'll be retiring as well. This has not been confirmed, although it was reported by Ryan Satin, who really knows what he's talking about, and he reported it first. If you read it somewhere else, you know all about that drama. So
Monday's probably going to be her last
That's
day.
early because she had said on their Good Morning America interview that she was waiting till summer. Wow.
That's
Yeah.
right.
That sucks.
For Monday, you better watch Monday Night Raw this upcoming Monday. You'll
That
probably
just
ever see
doesn't
Brie
really
Bella for the
pair
last
up.
time.
This doesn't pair up well with my Total Divas viewing.
No, right? Well, meanwhile, Eva Marie had a little interview on Home and Family on the Hallmark Channel. Make sure you guys check that out. And she might be taking Miss Brie Bella's place because she is back on the main roster and will be in the 5-on-5 Divas match on Team Total Divas at WrestleMania on Sunday. So it's big
the
news
pre-show.
for
Good for
Eva.
You can watch it on the USA Network.
That's right, yeah, because they're on the kickoff
At 3
show.
o'clock.
So even if you guys don't have the network, make sure you tune into USA on Sunday. I will be there. It's going to be fun.
That's right, everyone. Follow Christy on social media. Giving you all the scoop from the, I don't know what do you say, from the ring.
That was very good, Megan.
The ring.
All right, well, guys,
Ringside.
before we wrap up, I have a total throwback for you.
I hate this game.
I'm like,
I always
I'm like
expect.
2 and 10 on this.
I always expect like a total throwback soundbite.
Yeah, we'll work on it.
Total throwback.
Yes, there it is. Well, I'm all the way into season 2 now because I've been watching this back, and I wonder if you guys will remember this. Eva had some, we'll say, not PG photos on the internet. And one of her fellow Total Divas, who was supposed to be her friend, found these photos and showed them to everyone at the WWE. Even
Which
like
I'm still
Fandango
looking
had them on his phone and he was showing them to people. Everyone was talking about it.
I know
It was
who it is.
not Foxy.
I'm
This was
still-
before Foxy was even on the show.
I'm still looking for those pictures on the internet.
I found him. I found
Some
him
are
at that
right,
time.
some are right. No, because she didn't come
She
on.
wasn't then either. No.
I know who it was.
Who would do
I know who it
this?
was.
George, who would do this?
Ariane Andrews.
That's so
It was
mean. I do
Karen.
remember that too.
Remember, she was a little hot under the collar. She said that Eva had been being like a little extra about all the opportunities she was getting. She was
yeah,
getting
yeah.
to go and like visit the troops, and she was doing all the maps
Yeah.
and stuff and all
Yeah.
of that. And
She was the classic one-upper.
mhm.
Like if Ariane was like, "Hey, I just landed this," Eva was like, "Oh, really?"
That's
Well,
like
I just got
Penelope.
this."
I totally just spit everything.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what she
Penelope
did in the
from
scene.
SNL.
Ariane was like, I got the cover of a magazine, and Eva was like, oh, I'm in Maxim's top 50 or whatever. So, not to say that Eva deserved that, and that was all a very not girl power thing to do, but we know that they eventually reconciled, and it was all good. But that was a lot of drama.
George, you really couldn't find those pictures?
So it looks like somebody's gonna send them to me.
Maybe Fandango will. He totally had
At
him on his
G
phone and pulled them up. Right? Well, I'm just checking in with the chat. Oh, they are on their stuff. They know all
knew.
about it. Andrea, AJ, Mr. Jane, Montserrat, Andrea. Yeah. You guys got it. You guys are so good at this game. I love it. I love it. Well, guys, if they want to school you on those first few seasons,
I know, right?
Where are they going to hit you up, Paulina?
Someone teach me a lesson. You guys can find me on Twitter at _ Paulina Aguilar and on Instagram at Paulina M. Aguilar.
And if anybody knows any good brain pills I could take to remember all the television I've watched over the past number of years, you guys can tweet me, find me on Instagram, or snap me at Megan Stecher.
All right.
You can follow me at Hermoza, GHERMOZA, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, etc.
All right, and make sure you guys are following me on Twitter and Instagram at Christy Reports. I will be in Dallas. I will be there. I will be hunting down those divas. I will give you every piece of insider exclusive behind-the-scenes scoop that I can. Make sure you also subscribe to my YouTube channel at Christy Reports, because you know I'm going to have my camera in my bag. Just saying. So thank you for hanging out with us on the AfterBuzz TV Total Divas After Show. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button and come back and see us again next week. Bye-bye. Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.